Hello, everybody. I hope everybody is doing good today. I wanted to talk a little about some things that I've learned when it comes to the hidden effects of obesity. I actually come to United States from Russia. In Russia, and I don't know if you know, but there are a lot of fit people, not many people who are obese. So whenever we used to talk about the fact that I was moving here, people would bring up, "Well, what about going over there and you're gonna get fat?" I really didn't care about this too much because I was young at the time. I was a teenager and I was always active, so I really didn't think it was going to affect me. Fast forward 2009, we moved here in an airport. I really did notice there were a lot more obese people, but again, I didn't really care about it too much. And then again, fast forward to 2013, when I graduated high school. At the time, it was 125. Again, basketball, football, lifting weights, anything you can think of, I was doing out as far as as far as our sports are concerned. So I was always active. I ate well. I did not really spend too much time on the couch and whatnot. Um, but all that changed after graduating high school. When I moved out of my parents' house, some things happened and life hit me hard. So between 2013, when I was 125 pounds, 2015, I've gained 75 pounds, and I didn't notice that I was spending most of my days on my couch, So, um, and obviously, I decided to, and I was really, I never thought I would be in that position, so I decided to go ahead and make some changes, and this began my journey for the next 11 years of learning how to overcome obesity and different challenges that comes with it, and including some of the hidden things that come with being overweight and having that dependency on food. And so eventually I got my certification as a personal trainer and as a nutritional coach, and I studied from different seminars and books and whatnot, so, and also by helping other people, so I have quite a bit of experience in this area. But the three aspects I want to talk about is the mental aspect, the professional aspect, and the financial aspect of obesity that we don't talk about, the effects of it. you know the first thing that I noticed is the addiction aspect. I noticed that when I first went on my diet, it was very hard to wean myself off of food, to the point where I started to shake, having cold sweats, anxiety, fever, even stress, napping, just being angry, and whatnot. And I read up about this and actually came across this in a book by Angel J, 2018, Fat Nation: A History of Obesity in America. It says that by 1973, psychiatrist Daniel Capone was describing overeating as a form of substance abuse, a new, more inclusive term for drug addiction. In fact, it was compared to alcohol abuse, addiction to alcohol. And so, with similar effects, effects on relationships, on family members, very snappy, very uh, agitated, very angry, very short with people, temperamental. People who are obese also sometimes tend to be very stressed out and anxious and less tolerant, which would cause problems within the family members. I mean, also not to mention the physical aspect of it, where it's hard to move around, more lazy, more unmotivated. So not playing around with kids as much and whatnot. So, and it also would translate into romantic relationships too, having problems with spouses, breakups and fights and arguments. Other physical aspects of it too, being disinterested in your romantic partner. All these things are part of the mental aspect of obesity that we don't really often talk about. The other side of it, because of this, now all of these issues are translating into our professional lives. It's hard enough for us to work certain jobs. Now we have to narrow how many jobs we're working at, but now we're also having to deal with hiring bias. A lot of times, interviewers will look at us and our shape and our body fat percentage and decide they're not going to hire us before even sitting down and talking to us. Things like sexual orientation, ethnic origin, race, and all these things, they're protected by law, but this is not. So they're free to reject us if they wish to. It says here in a 2020 ebook by Omnia Graphics, Obesity and Overweight Source Book, it mentions that applicants with obesity and overweight are and are overweight are viewed as having inadequate self-discipline, low supervisory potential, unacceptable personal hygiene, and less ambition, productivity. So just by that, they're already deciding to they're having that prejudice and decide to not hire us for certain positions. But there is some truth to it too, because people who are overweight tend to also call out from work more often due to what various different reasons, health, mental health, and whatnot, being sick. And when people who are overweight and having those struggles, those anxieties and stresses in life, are also having different issues with presenteeism. So meaning when we're working, we're not as productive. So we're having other different issues. Keeping up with the metrics, so with expectations of our jobs. And then, of course, now this will lead to a different problem with financial struggles that we're going to have. As a matter of fact, this is something that I learned, really blew my mind. In a 2017 article by Adam J.M., it says individuals with in it, and the article's name is stature, obesity, and portfolio choice. It says that the individuals with higher BMI exhibit a lower propensity to participate in the stock market. So people who are more overweight, have a higher body fat percentage, are now not investing in stock markets for their future. And those who do, having other different set of problems, such as fear of um, uh, anxiety, and different stress factors, impatience, that causes them to not invest, or when they do invest, they pull out their investments too soon, causing losses for themselves, right? And this is not even mentioning the fact that people who are obese tend to spend more money on medical bills, on transportation, on clothes, and on what you call it, medications, food, and such as that, things such as that. So there's more spending going on, less earning going on. But that being said, I believe that education is key, and I believe that education on these topics and raising awareness will create an environment in which we can, we can create an environment of compassion, understanding, self-esteem, and improve self-worth, which will lead us to living a life of meaning rather than being always focused on repairing. Now we can thrive. A famous writer and a professor, Audre Lorde, stated in her book Burst of Light that caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political war. Thank you so much. Have a good one.